When picking out a camera for landscape photography or really any photography, the first thing we look at is specs or specifications. These are things that determines what a camera is able to do. And for landscape photography, there is one spec that is absolutely so important to look at when you're picking out a landscape photography camera, and that's what I'm going to go over in this video. What's up guys, Project Photography, back in another video, and today when you think about what makes a great landscape photography camera, things like megapixel count are probably in the picture. Having 45 megapixels is better than 24, right? Being able to have great dynamic range, because when you want to shoot a landscape, you want to be able to expose for the sky and recover the shadows after. Therefore, dynamic range is crucial. You want things like an articulating screen, because if you have your camera low to the ground, you want to be able to flip up that screen and be able to see what you're shooting. You want things like pretty good shutter speed times. You want to be able to shoot up to like 15 minutes or so without having to do the bulb or the time mode and things like that. All these things are not nearly as important as this one spec that I really think that is. And when I think about what makes a great landscape photography camera, the weight and size are the one thing that I really look at the most. I kind of group them together because they're kind of the same ballpark. When I was looking out and searching for my landscape photography camera in the Z6, one of the big things was weight, because I went from DSLRs to mirrorless, and having a DSLR was almost twice as heavy as my Z6. And that's something that I really had to think about when switching over from DSLR to mirrorless. I want to be able to carry lighter. I want to be able to carry smaller. And when you have a smaller, lighter things, that means you can fit more in your backpack. And when you're going out on hikes and whatnot, and you're shooting landscape photography, you're gonna be carrying all these things on your back the entire time. Whether you're shooting for 6 miles, 10 miles, or you're going somewhere that's 20 miles away, you have to think about, do I really want to be carrying all that weight on my back? And I think that's why the switch to mirrorless was so important for me. It wasn't that the image quality got better. It wasn't for all these other technical specs and things like that. It was the ability to be able to carry smaller, lighter, and more compact. The efficiency of being able to carry less gear meant that I could carry other things like more water. I'd be able to carry more clothing. I'd be able to carry a smaller, lighter tripods than before. And this means that I'm able to do more with my landscape photography when I go out and hike. Efficiency is the key to the game when it comes to landscape photography and hiking and whatnot, and being able to do just that is really important. And I think that with me being able to carry a mirrorless camera like this, I can carry 2 bodies just instead of 1. That means when I'm going out to shoot and I use my 14-30, that means I could be using my 70-300 on a different body for something else. Now, you would be insane to think that I'd go out and use 2 DSLR bodies at the same time. That's a lot of weight in just the bodies themselves. But because of mirrorless, you're able to have 2 small mirrorless bodies and able to carry less weight and whatnot. Now, if you've gone out hiking, you know how important weight is. It's almost everything. That's one thing that a lot of people think about. And camera gear is part of that equation. It's one of those things where you're actually able to control the weight. You're not really able to control the weight of the clothing you bring, the water, and just other things that you have to have when you go out hiking. But camera gear is one of those things that you can control. And if you can go lighter and smaller, why not do just that? Carrying more gear means that when you go farther places, that weight adds up on your shoulders and on your back. And in reality, you don't want to be able to have that problem on you, because that means that you'll be able to limit yourself in terms of how far you're able to go, and you're going to limit yourself in terms of how comfortable the entire hike's going to be. Like, imagine going on a hike and carry, what, 10-15 pounds of gear just because that's how much your stuff weighs in terms of camera gear. Like, that would be really, really obnoxious, and that would not make hiking a very fun experience. And overall, if you have lighter, less gear, more efficient, takes up less space in your bag, you can do more with your backpack in terms of what you put in there. So when I think about when I buy my next camera, weight is going to be my #1 concern. And I think that's a big reason why I love the Z system so much, because it's so light, so compact, and it can do the job very, very well. Look, a DSLR and mirrorless have the same image quality pretty much. Like when you think about the Z7 versus the D850 or the Z6 versus, I don't know, the D750, like they have the same image quality pretty much. Not gonna be the exact same, but relatively the same. So image quality really isn't something that is as important nowadays. You can get great image quality anywhere. You can give me any sort of camera and I'm gonna create great images with it. Again, it's about the photographer, and weight is the most important thing to be looking out for. So efficiency is the name of the game weight, size, if you can decrease that as much as possible with your camera gear, that is absolutely going to be crucial for when you go out and hike. Well, when you think about specifications for cameras, weight is something to really consider for your landscape photography. That's the number one thing I look for, and hopefully you guys take that away from this video. That's pretty much it for me, guys. Let me know what you guys think. What is the number one specification that you guys look for in your landscape photography cameras? Comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.